If you think the last 2 weeks were heavy, buckle up, because what just went down with Charlie Kirk's death isn't just a headline. It's a turning point. And the way our country is reacting, it's a giant red flashing warning sign about where we're headed. I'm Christi Chanelle, and this is Sassy Politics. Hi, I'm back. I've been on a 2-week break. Thank you for hanging around and still being a part of this movement with me. I moved. I'm in a new house, boxes everywhere, but I'm happy and building my little bedroom studio. It's kind of cute. I still have to do the background and get the walls and get everything set up, but I managed to get my little studio set up so I could get an episode out on Mindf Monday. I'll give you a full house tour on YouTube later this week. But today, we need to get serious because I know you're feeling it. I'm seeing people say that they're taking a break from social media. It's just too damn heavy. And they're right. It is heavy. But that's why we reset, recharge, and then refocus. Because we need you in this movement. Full force. Full stop. I'm back. I'm refocused. And we're going to go through this together. Because we are literally documenting history. And we are documenting our rising. So let's do it. Charlie Kirk was shot at a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. And immediately, before there was even a suspect, President Trump came out and blamed radicals on the left. His exact words, "The radicals on the left are the problem. They're vicious and horrible. Although they want men and women's sports, they want transgender for everyone. They want open borders." I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Clearly, nothing. Then, this was jarring. Elon Musk followed up with, "The left is the party of murder." This is not just a hot take. This is assigning guilt to an entire political group before facts are even known. Then a website popped up, charliesmurderers.com. It's creating a searchable database of over 30,000 people, they say, celebrated Kirk's death or opposed him. You can search by job title, state, or industry. I am absolutely not for celebrating death, any death, but this is terrifying. This is doxxing. People are losing their jobs. I've seen reports of teachers resigning or being fired, employees at Delta and American Airlines allegedly being let go. This is not accountability. This is harassment. If you disagree with me, you have the right to do so. But you should not lose your job, your safety, or your ability to feed your family because of your opinion. If you think this is okay because they're on the other side, just know the next time it could be you. Now, after all that craziness and accusations, they have a suspect, 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson. He was arrested after a 33-hour manhunt and charged with aggravated murder and firearm discharge. Here's what we know. He was in an electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College. His family is conservative, members of the LDS Church. His grandmother even came out publicly saying, "We are MAGA," to push back on rumors that he was a radical liberal. Yeah, that would be really a bad thing, huh? He was living with a transgender roommate, reportedly a romantic partner who is cooperating with investigators and had no knowledge of any plot. Bullet casings found at the scene had anti-fascist or meme engravings I've heard conflicting reports about that. I've heard that it was reported by the Washington Post and then retracted. I've heard that the roommate was not necessarily a romantic partner and they were transitioning. We don't know. We don't know. And honestly, I don't know that I would trust anything that's out there right now. Truly. Because the things we see with our own eyes, they tell us we haven't seen. So I question every single thing that comes out of their mouth. This is where it gets messy. Early on, social media tried to paint him as a liberal, a Democrat, wearing a certain shirt. But those photos turned out to be of a doppelganger. It wasn't even him. There are conspiracy theories now that this was a MAGA eating MAGA, that Kirk wasn't far right enough for some extremist groups. And that's why he was targeted. Nothing has been confirmed. We don't have a motive yet. So let's not hunt anyone down today, okay? These are early reports. This is still speculation. I will keep covering this as we learn more about why this has happened. But one thing we can all be sure of is we will absolutely be blamed no matter what the result. While we wait for real answers, the response is already being sculpted. We have flags at half-staff. The vice president personally walking with his casket to the plane, NFL games holding a moment of silence, and now I'm hearing they want to erect a statue of him. Who's paying for all of this? Is this coming out of our pockets? Because if this is a private thing, if Trump and his allies want to fund this through a GoFundMe, fine. But taxpayer-funded political theater for a man who was a podcaster, not an elected official, not a soldier, I think we should have a say in that. And something else worries me. This kind of exaltation doesn't just honor someone. It rarely stays neutral. It draws lines. It signals alliance. It builds myth. And we are living in a moment where myths can be lethal. This is where it stops being politics and starts being personal. People are scared. I'm scared. And I am a white American woman, arguably one of the most protected demographics in this country. I am not the one most likely to be targeted. And yet, I am second-guessing everything I say. I even privated 2 of my own posts about Charlie Kirk, not because I celebrated his death, not because I said anything hateful, but because I didn't want to end up on a list. If I feel that way, someone who has built a platform, who has access to a microphone, who can defend herself publicly, imagine what it feels like to be Black, Latino, Indigenous, Asian, LGBTQ+, an immigrant, or anyone with fewer protections. Imagine the fear of being put on a list when your very existence is already politicized. This is why I speak out, because if I am scared, and I have relative privilege and a platform, then we know there are people who are terrified into silence. And this is where the trust starts to break down. It's like walking into a crowd, looking around wondering, would you hurt me if it came down to it? Would you put me on a website if you knew my real views? Would you cheer if I lost my job? That is not a healthy democracy. That is a society tearing at the seams. And to everyone saying you're being dramatic, let's look at the rhetoric we're normalizing. On Fox and Friends, host Brian Kilmeade said on live television that the solution for mentally ill homeless people who refuse to help is to just kill them. Let that sink in. A national morning show host suggested killing human beings, and no one on set even flinched. I took a moment of silence for that because I wanted you to really hang on that last sentence. He later apologized, called it extremely callous. I don't give a fuck Okay? I don't give a fuck. You said the quiet part out loud. But the words were already out there, and words like that do not just disappear. They soften the public to state violence. They make it easier for someone watching at home to believe that some lives are disposable. And they're not. And this is not just talk. It shows up in real life. Just last week in Franklin Park, Illinois, an ICE officer shot and killed 39-year-old Severio Villegas Gonzalez during an arrest attempt. Authorities say he tried to flee and dragged an officer with his car, but he died on the spot. People in this community are shaken. They are asking, was deadly force the only option? Was this necessary? And this is what I mean when I say the fear isn't just ideological. It's physical. It's the state deciding who lives, who dies, and the rest of us learning to look away. And yes, we've all seen the coverage of his wife, Erica. She is stunning. The perfect pageant queen. Which makes sense because she literally was one during the time that Trump owned the pageant system. She gave a statement that was raw and emotional, and honestly, kind of militant. And again, I say that with compassion. She just lost her husband. But it was also a reminder that this is about more than one man's death. This is about where we go from here. We are no longer living in a country that waits for truth. We convict based on politics, based on skin tone, based on who you love. And that should scare every single one of us. I'm just an average American, like many of you, who is scared of what happens next. Scared of neighbors, scared of what speaking out might cost me, scared of what it might cost you. But silence isn't the answer either. Reset, recharge, refocus. Reset, recharge, refocus. Because this movement needs you. And we will keep documenting history together. And before we wrap up, let me talk about where this movement is heading. Because I am building this with you in real time. First, Substack. I just discovered the article button this week, and it is so cool. When I post there, it notifies everyone who subscribes to me, which means you never miss the big updates. I'll be posting my deeper dives there, the ones that don't always make it into an episode. So if you're not subscribed yet, go do that at Christi Chanelle on Substack. And then, of course, Activist Chain. That's my heart. It's time to make this thing real. I'm actively looking for a third-party email service, a paid one, so my newsletters don't end up in your spam folder, which you should check as soon as you get off of here. Let me know you got it. Because let's be real, if you signed up, I'm assuming you want to be part of something. You want to get involved. So here's your nudge. When that newsletter drops later this week, respond. Tell me who you are, where you're from, what you care about. Let's get this bad boy rolling, because we cannot just sit on TikTok and hope the algorithm saves democracy. This is how we build something real together. If this episode made you think, share it. Comment with your thoughts. What do you think is really happening here? I would love to hear from you. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for the full house tour later this week. And seriously, get on Substack, watch for the Activist Chain newsletter, and when you see it, hit reply. Let's start linking up. Literally. And we're just getting started, link by link. We are the chain. Let's start a revolution, baby.